on this. To this. Yo, what's cracking, fam? Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to teach you how to tune your steering wheel to get the best settings for your actual setup. I'm going to go through the options, go through each one, let you know what setting does what. That way you can tune your wheel to your specific taste. Alright, so let's go. So for some reason they have the clutch axis on these settings. I'm not sure why. So if you want the full range of your whole clutch, change them to the max and minimum defaults. Same with the handbrake. I kind of do like mine at least 5, because sometimes with these handbrakes they activate by themselves. Alright, so next is vibration scale. It's pretty much the feeling of the road, such as like the rear tires, for example. If you're doing a burnout, you'll feel them vibrating. So we'll go through that now. See how it's kind of jittering? Jitters from the vibration. Some people, they like to turn it off completely, but I kind of like to just put it on 1, the way you can kind of still feel yourself doing a burnout, but it's not completely off. Okay, we'll set that to 1. We'll go again. As you'll see, the burnouts, the wheel's a lot more smooth. Alright. It's not jittering everywhere anymore. Alright, next up we have force feedback scale. This is going to determine your force feedback of your steering wheel, how strong it is. For devices such as Logitech that have really low force feedback, like 2 Newton meters, I'd recommend putting this up to full. But for now, I'm just going to leave mine default. Now, center spring scale. So what basically does is centers your steering wheel back to the middle when you're in load, of course. So like if I let go of the steering wheel, it's just going to snap back to the center. Obviously in real life that's not realistic. No car that I know does that. I'm going to set this down to 0.1. Same with wheel damper, does a very similar thing. Now, depending on how much resistance you want on your turning, depends on the setting of this. So now the center spring scale is off, kind of getting your self steer. Still feels very strong. Just when you're trying to counter steer. Still getting very strong feedback. It feels like I got no power steering whatsoever. I like to put mine to 0.1 as well. As you can see, there's still force when your tires are spinning, but it's easier to turn out. And it's easier to correct yourself. So if you like the feeling of the wheel so far, you just leave it how it is and you should be right to go. Right now we're almost stopped. There's kind of no force. So you can put your wheel scale back up if you want it a little bit tighter. Alright, so the next one is mechanical trail scale. It's basically pretty much the self-correction when you're understeering or oversteering. The higher the value, the more the steering wheel will correct itself. And the lower the value, the less it'll correct. So I'll show you the lower setting first, just so you understand what I'm talking about. So if I let go of the steering wheel, it's not going to correct itself. It's not going to auto-align, which obviously when you're drifting, it's very important. Also comes in handy with racing as well, so you can actually feel what your tires are doing. But as you can see, it's kind of no resistance whatsoever. Now again, depending on your steering wheel, if you have a Logitech, you might want to turn it all the way up. If you got a lot of force feedback, I'll just show you what it does. If you have too much force feedback, it's going to make it very hard to turn. And with the current settings, obviously it's too much, it's just going to go haywire. Now if you want that on full, but you don't want to deal with the steering wheel going crazy, you change the minimum force feedback. So now that fixes the trail scale, but you still get some nice results. This is pretty much just changing the amount of force feedback at the bottom of the scale. The slower your speed, the less resistance you'll have, and the faster your speed, the more resistance you'll have. Okay, next setting is force feedback load sensitivity. So this basically changes how much you feel the tires through the wheel while you're turning. So the wheel gets much heavier mid-corner, opposed to if you have it low. As you mid-corner, you barely feel the steering wheel. We'll just demonstrate this now. So right now it feels like I have very good power steering, but when it's too low, can't really feel the bite point very much. Just feels way too loose. You can't feel when you're going to spin out. I personally like 6 or 7. The higher it is, the harder it is to turn and kind of to feel where you're going to spin out. Like right now, my wheel's very hard to turn. Obviously, it's going to go crazy when I let go of the steering wheel. Still feels pretty good though, at high speeds. Steering wheel's very responsive. Alright, so I'm going to drop mine back down to about 7. Or 8. Keep 8 for now. Now, with road scale and off-road scale, this is obviously going to determine how much feeling you have in the road and off-road. Kind of like to turn these down just a tad. So any bump you feel in the road, you'll feel it in the steering wheel. Same with off-road, it'll kind of vibrate once you go off-road. And steering sensitivity, I just leave alone. This is kind of like a mid-ground. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps. Most people give you a setting and just don't tell you anything about what it's doing. I do recommend trying a lot of the settings out yourself just to see what suits your taste. Okay, that's going to be it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below and I'll try and help you out as much as I can. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Laters.